Listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not a simple story of construction sites and government plans. This is the story of how a small African nation, long dismissed as powerless, is rewriting its destiny brick by brick, solar panel by solar panel, and road by road. And at the center of it all stands a man the West both fears and despises, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Why? Because he is not begging for aid, he is not kneeling before donors, and he is not waiting for permission. He is building, and he is building fast. For centuries, colonial powers told Africans, "You are too weak, too poor, too small to stand alone." And yet here we are, watching Burkina Faso, a landlocked country with few natural advantages, launching mega projects that could transform its future forever. The West calls it reckless, but the people call it freedom. Let us begin with the gateway to the skies, Ouagadougou-Danso International Airport. Only 35 kilometers outside the capital, it rises like a promise on the horizon. This airport, costing over 730 million euros, is no ordinary project. With a runway stretching 3.5 kilometers and a terminal capable of welcoming more than 1 million passengers each year, it signals that Burkina Faso is no longer trapped within its borders. Imagine it, farmers exporting fresh produce directly, traders traveling with ease, students and workers connecting with the world without depending on outdated colonial hubs. Danso is not just an airport. It is a declaration that Burkina Faso is stepping into tomorrow. But an airport cannot thrive without power. That is why right next door, the Danso solar power station is being built, a 25-megawatt giant with advanced battery storage financed by over $45 million. This is more than electricity for runways and lights. It is proof that Burkina Faso refuses to remain in the dark. For too long, energy was a chain around the nation's neck, imported at high cost, unreliable, and scarce. But with every solar panel installed, another link of that chain is broken. And yet, even airports and power plants mean little if a nation cannot move its goods, its people, its dreams. Which brings us to the Bobo Dioulasso to Côte d'Ivoire highway. 155 kilometers of asphalt, slicing through isolation, connecting Burkina Faso's second-largest city to the outside world. Landlocked no longer means trapped. With this road, farmers can reach markets, traders can cross borders, and communities can thrive. It is a lifeline that stretches not only across Burkina Faso, but across West Africa, binding the region together in trade and strength. Still, Traoré's vision reaches further. Look at the Kony solar plant. Commissioned in December 2023, this facility alone can power more than 100,000 households, 100,000 families who no longer have to fear the darkness when the sun sets, 100,000 homes where children can study, where businesses can stay open at night, where hospitals can save lives with reliable power. And it doesn't stop there. The Kony plant also cuts over 41,000 tons of carbon emissions every year, proving that Burkina Faso is not just surviving, but leading the way toward a greener, cleaner Africa. Each of these projects tells a story. Together, they scream a message the West does not want to hear. We do not need you to define our future. Think about it, an airport to connect the skies, a solar station to power the future, a highway to link nations, a massive solar plant to light up households and slash pollution. These are not random projects, they are a strategy, a web of progress designed to lift Burkina Faso out of dependency and into true independence. And that is why Traoré is dangerous to those who once controlled Africa like a puppet, not because he commands tanks, but because he commands vision. Not because he destroys, but because he builds. And in every brick laid, every road paved, every solar panel installed lies a challenge to the old world order. So when the West whispers that Traore must be removed, understand this. It is not his military strength that scares them. It is his ability to imagine and to act on behalf of his people. It is his refusal to kneel. But my friends, this is only the beginning. For while these first 4 projects have already shifted the ground, what comes next is even greater. Electrified villages, clean water for millions, and a battle against the desert itself. The revolution is not slowing, it is accelerating. Stay with me, for the story of Burkina Faso is far from over.
The sun does not ask permission before it rises. And so too, Burkina Faso, under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, does not wait for approval before lifting itself from the shadows. If the first projects showed the world that independence was possible, the next ones prove that independence is unstoppable. Look now to the villages, small communities once forgotten, trapped in darkness when the sun went down. For generations, children studied by candlelight, mothers cooked in smoke-filled huts, and small businesses closed when night arrived. But no longer. With the Light for Villages solar electrification program, over 100 communities are being transformed. Entire villages now glow at night with clean solar energy. Imagine the sight: streets lit, children laughing under lamplight, clinics powered, water pumps running. This is not charity, it is dignity. Traore's government did not wait for the so-called aid packages with strings attached. Instead, it harnessed the African sun to deliver African progress. And where there is light, there must also be water. Because what good is electricity if the people thirst? Across Burkina Faso, more than 400 boreholes have been drilled and fitted with solar-powered pumps. For decades, women walked miles with heavy buckets balanced on their heads, wasting hours just to bring home water that was often unsafe. Today, in village after village, clean water flows at the press of a hand pump, powered by the same sun that lights their homes. These boreholes are more than wells. They are fountains of freedom, saving time, saving lives, and giving children back their childhood. But Traore's vision does not stop at the ground beneath our feet. He has dared to look up, to the skies, to the stars. In 2024, Burkina Faso launched its first satellite into orbit, a technological leap that stunned critics. For a landlocked, resource-limited nation to join the space age? Unthinkable. And yet it happened. This small satellite now circles the Earth, gathering data for agriculture, communication, and climate research. Each signal it sends home tells the same story. Burkina Faso refuses to be left behind. While others say Africa should remain a consumer, Traore declares that Africa will also be a creator, a participant in the technologies that shape tomorrow. But perhaps the most dramatic battle of all is being fought against the desert itself. For years, the Sahara has crept southward, devouring farmland, swallowing villages, and spreading hunger. But now, the people are fighting back with the Great Green Wall Project. Millions of trees are being planted across the drylands of Burkina Faso, creating living shields of green. These trees bring back soil, bring back rain, bring back hope. Farmers once forced to flee now return to cultivate their land. Children once doomed to hunger now see fields of millet, maize, and sorghum growing again. This is more than an environmental project. It is a war for survival. And Traore has declared that Burkina Faso will not surrender an inch of its soil to the desert. So let us count what has been built in just a short time. An international airport, a solar station for the skies, a transnational highway, a solar plant for 100,000 homes, electrified villages, hundreds of solar boreholes, a national satellite, and a wall of living green against the desert. Do you see the pattern? These are not scattered projects. They are pieces of a single vision: light, water, roads, energy, technology, and nature, all woven together into a new fabric of sovereignty. Each project is a brick in the foundation of a stronger nation. Each success is a slap in the face to those who said Africa could not stand alone. And that is why the West trembles. Not because Traore shouts against them, but because he shows a different path is possible. A path where Africans no longer beg, but build. A path where sovereignty is not a slogan, but a solar panel, a water pump, a highway, a satellite, a forest. My friends, understand this. True revolutions are not written only in speeches or shouted in protests. They are written in stone, in steel, in solar glass, in planted trees, in the hum of electricity where once there was silence. That is what we are witnessing in Burkina Faso. Yes, the challenges are great. The threats are real. Enemies gather outside the borders, plotting sabotage, funding unrest, spreading lies. But the people have seen something they can never unseen: progress with their own eyes. A child who once studied by candlelight now studies under an electric bulb. A farmer who once watched his land turn to dust now sees trees bringing back rain. A mother who once walked hours for dirty water now fills her jug in minutes with clean water. These are victories no enemy can erase. And so, as the fire of revolution burns in Burkina Faso, it sparks flames across Africa. In Mali, in Niger, in Guinea, people whisper, "If they can build, why can't we? If they can stand, why can't we? If they can defy the West, why can't we?" The answer is clear: they can, and they will. For Ibrahim Traoré has proven that Africa's future will not be written in Washington or Paris, but in Ouagadougou, Bamako, Niamey, and every village that dares to dream. The airport, the solar stations, the boreholes, the satellite, the trees, all are chapters in a single story. A story not of dependency, but of dignity. Not of begging, but of building. Not of fear, but of courage. And when historians one day ask, when did Africa begin to truly rise, they may not look to speeches in foreign parliaments or signatures on foreign aid checks. They may look here, to the projects of Burkina Faso, to the vision of Ibrahim Traoré, to the moment when a small spider of a nation, dismissed as powerless, wove its own web of strength. Remember this: revolutions are not always loud. Sometimes they hum with electricity, flow with clean water, sprout with green leaves, and shine with solar light. Sometimes they are carried not on weapons, but on dreams, and on the courage to build.